County, Kenya, and today we just wanted to discuss about these problems and the challenges that youths face in our society. So, before we get started, I'll begin from the introduction part, where I'll begin from my right.
My name's I'm Peter Evans. You can find me on YouTube, Peter Evans, Evans with CE.
I'm Ian Idoyo. You can find me on Facebook, on YouTube. You can find me Ian Oyan.
Christine Fidelia. I heard we were saying our occupation. I'm a student. Black Coffee, TikTok, and Instagram.
Okay, I'm Stacy Test, a student from Databan School. Confirm me on Instagram, Stacy Test.
Okay, you are speaking to Alvin Kanendo. You can find me on any platform at Alvin Kanendo.
Winnie Manix. You can find me on Instagram as Flatshy.
Yes, guys, this is Pascal from Databan Computer School. You find us on all the social media platforms, Databan Media, and welcome.
All right, so just as the way I introduced the topic, today we just wanted to figure out or picture out or discuss about these challenges that youth face in our society in Africa, because we find most of the African societies face different challenges. But now we just wanted to narrow down on the age-wise and talk about the youth, because I really feel like youth form the bigger population in our country or in our areas. So what are these challenges that really we face in our society? Mr. Pascal?
Oh, yes. Thank you, very important. First of all, saizi we have the social media pressure. Hii imeshika youths wengi sana. Like you find that every youth want to feel valued and feel belonging, that sense of belonging kwa social media. So hii imefanya wengine, you don't have some things but you want to cope with that life. That social media pressure imeleta vitu mingi sana. Yeah, that's my view.
Money. A lot of our youths are unemployed, and it's a major issue or a problem.
Okay, for me, I'll talk about drug abuse. Yeah, it affects many youths. Hata ukienda Rongo Town saa hii uingie kwa bar, my friend. It's a major challenge.
Okay, me I'll talk about peer pressure. Yeah, unaweza pata dem line youth kama mimi ako na nguo expensive yet mimi sina. Nataka kufanya kila kitu juu nipate hiyo nguo. Nitatumia like trick zingine chafu ndio nipate hiyo nguo ako nayo.
Yeah, I'm going to add on the peer influence, what she has talked about. It's not only about what we have, it's about it's more than just the physical part. We go psychologically, whereby I'm able to influence you into doing something. I'm able to convince you twende tufanye hivi unaona. Then it gets to a point whereby you yourself you can't hold it, but maybe mimi ni kitu nimekuwa nikifanya nimezoea, so it gets to a point where we are getting breakdowns. Yeah, then adding on that, I'll say about parents' neglect. You find that most of us right now are growing up without parents being around. Yes, wako, they are giving us everything, but you find that every day you crave for parental love. Unaka home, mzazi anarudi jioni, anatoka asubuhi. This creates a kind of personality in someone whereby someone is always on the defensive side. You're trying to cope. It's a coping mechanism. Therefore, we come up with characteristics that the society can't take, because mi kwetu nimezoea, mimi nitafanya hivi sitaambiwa kitu. Why? The parent is not there. I'm not able to talk to anyone. Yeah, so that one also is something that's affecting the youth. That's why we can't hold jobs. We can't get jobs. Yeah.
I also would like to add whatever they've said here. The challenge that is facing most of these youths, it's you find most of the youths, they have gone to school, they have read, they've got those diplomas, those certificates. Most of them, they've did even those degrees, but now they're not getting jobs. And to that, it brings most of them, they feel much discouraged, they've gone to school and yet you don't have jobs. So it's like they are getting that pressure, and most of them, they are being discouraged by it. Not even feeling like to read, because they see there's no job. After now they've attained what's expected of them. That's all that they have.
Okay, so for me, I have 2 points. First one is the self-discovery and the awareness. Actually, we live in a society right now that we're talking about Africans, where an adolescent right now doesn't know if he or she is either a male or a female. And from an African perspective, this agenda of the LGBTQ thing is making, it's getting a lot of confusion and things like that. Because that even in the books, a child who is supposed, or maybe I'd say that a kid, I'll talk of kids, they find that in their books, there's a he or she and things like that. So you get that there's a lot of confusion about that. And then also, another thing is about the academic pressure. We live in a capitalist society right now, where you get that parents, like, they demand the most, the best, like, from their kids. And you get that different people have different, capabilities. So you find that in I'd say the African society, an African child gets that a lot of, the African child gets a lot of pressure and things like this. So you find that this leads to most of the things that my fellows talk about, like the substance abuse and things like that.
Touching on the part of awareness, I think as Africans, the only thing that's hindering us from achieving our full potential is like acceptance. Right now, you find that even if you're a good performing student, una perform fiti shule, umekuwa disciplined, but you get to this point whereby you are confused, am I a lady or am I a guy? Then like, to say, like, for example, you are a lady, then like you dress, let me say the way I've dressed, but in some households, if you dress like that, the parents disown you. Trust me, they've killed a future because you are doing everything okay. So the major problem is not like awareness, the major problem is acceptance. Because the moment your parent accepts you, sits you down and talks to you, now maybe I realize because hormonal imbalance are what causes like gayism and things like that, and lesbianism. So the moment the parent sits down and talks to you, you find that unajijua vizuri, because unajua ukiwa adolescent, sometimes the male, tuseme you are a lady, and during your adolescence the male genes, the male genetic zingie mingi, you find that you start behaving like a boy. You don't understand it yourself, so you find that when the community is judging you, it's really hard on you, and it's very hard on you to like, acha ni explore full potential yangu, sitaweza, mbona nikiingia hivi I'm judged, nikijaribu huku I'm judged. Why? Not because I can't do what I'm supposed to do or expected, because you just from the outlook mnaona tu huyu naye hapana. So mi naona like the problem there is acceptance, because it comes from neglect pia.
Who has another different point?
No, to add on top, I can say, because if you look at the set, the speakers, even those who spoke before me, a lot of people are speaking about lack of unemployment. Nobody's talking about creating employment. That drives me to another point of a lack of creativity. You see? So the African youth lack creativity because they don't want to create their own employment. They can start their own businesses.
Na hiyo inakuja na system ya venye country iko. The society may build us that way. That way unasoma umalize.
But to some extent. But you see, someone who has gone even to a level of university, you've gotten your degree, you can be creative outside the box. You should not expect, you should not wait. You can expect, but you should not wait. What if that job never comes?
But you know, Alvin, Africa, we are the most creative continent. The only thing that we lack is motivation. In other countries, you find that there's a certain age that if you attain, kuna do inaingia kwa your account. With this, you're able to do something. So to say, for example, what's your name?
Pascal.
Let's say Pascal wants to start something little, utter to do with just reused bottles. Once I collect hizo bottles, ni do gani ata take in so that this thing goes to the next level? Unaona, we are very creative, but we lack funds and
Can you back up whatever you are saying with the data?
Leave alone
With the
that.
data, yes.
Unaona
Just a
government
minute,
ya Kenya peke yake.
just a minute.
Okay.
Can you back your claims with
With the data, yes. In short, you're talking about the internet, right?
Not even the internet. Research. Which research are you talking about?
Research in that, okay, I do my research. I know that I'm able to make this from recycled bottles. That's what the government is trying to bring in, CBD. Do you know why CBD is not working out?
CBC,
Lack
CBC.
of fund. Yeah, CBC. Do you know why CBC is not working out? Lack of funds. You go to those small schools out there, they're not able to bring the things that the school needs. And if you don't have those things, you're not learning as a child. So it still comes back to we lack resources. Because trust me, we had resources, many of us will not be standing.
But I'm talking about you've gone to a university. I'm not talking about the CBC.
You both of you have points, but now on a different angle. You know, you're talking about on a personal level, and she's talking
This
about
person who have you've gone to, let's say you've done your diploma, you've done your degree, you've done your PhD. You are there at home sitting, you are waiting for that job.
What are you gonna do without money? Ndio money
My friend.
unaenda kufanya, unataka kwa wapi? Even if you decide to be creative today, let me tell you, I'm in business. Do you know how government has made it hard for people to trade in business? You
But
trade
yet-
business, taxes ni kama kilo moja
yet-
ya taxes.
Sema for
Should be.
someone, they are going to find a way, but someone is complaining. So tuseme we pesa umekukataza, but someone somewhere anaenda anapata pesa. Sasa hii anapata pesa wapi?
Creativity.
Okay, even if you consider even the system peke yake, watu wenye wanafaa wapay youth pesa, the funds that are meant for youths for those creativity things, unapata the politicians wanazikula zote.
And that's
So,
why
as
we'll
another-
remain stuck, because utalelea politician from January to January.
the only let me add some one point on the same. I'll really say this. If you're a youth and you're a graduate, let me say you're a graduate youth, there's so many ways in which you can generate funds. Our problem why we're really afraid to start small is that we dream big. You're from school and you just want to wake you wake up one point and you're riding a Range Rover, you riding your pickup, double cabin or something. So we should really accept the fact that you have to begin small and climb a ladder gradually for you to get there. For instance, I have a plan of beginning a photography studio. I have to begin on a smaller business that I can manage, that I can fund it by myself, because the loans won't get you the loan. Yet, after graduating, you are having a loan already, a HELB loan. So you won't get another loan unless if your credit card had some money flow that is very okay. And for at the moment, for you to get a loan at the bank, you must have some assets. For you to have the assets, bro, one thing that I will tell every youth watching this show, be ready to begin small. Whether you're a PhD graduate or a master graduate or a degree, you're having a bachelor, begin small with what you can access, with what you can afford. By then, you won't blame the government. By then, you won't blame your mother. Because you can go for the Mjengo thing, get your 500 or 600 per day. If you save for 2 months or 3 months, how much will you be having? A lot of money to begin something small.
Yeah.
That will elevate you to get to the photography studio that you are aiming for. So shida tuko nayo kubwa kwa Kiswahili, tunaogopa kuanzia huku chini, tunataka tufike juu.
I disagree on that
Kwanza
point.
kwa pesa,
So,
kuweka pesa.
Here's my point.
Yeah.
Here my explanation. I think right now the world is like just a small village, and we are connected on internet. Like you can literally see somebody in Malaysia on the other side of the world and things like that. And we cannot really exclude ourselves from the nature of competing with others. So now that we are saying that we are not creative and things like that, I think that the moment that you see somebody really doing well on the other side, and maybe somebody is like having Range Rovers, as they have said, yes, it will depend on how much you can cope up with this urge of why can't I get there in the shortcut thing. So I do think that it's not even about creativity thing that youths space for nowadays. It's about you being contented with the pressure. I mean, how you can handle the pressure, because you cannot escape it. You have Facebook, you have WhatsApp, you have everything. So it's about you now, like just seeing a way of how you can tone down the pressure. But we cannot really blame the youth about creativity and things like that, because it's so tough. You'll see somebody doing good, you'll be tempted to find some shortcuts. So,
but my point was,
on that.
I didn't talk about being contented or something. I talked about beginning small. You start small. You be contented with your levels, then you begin from there. Build yourself from where you can manage.
Okay, unajua not all youths have the platform yenye umeenda, maybe mkatrainiwa hivyo. We are not all getting that. So we need
So
this
that's why we are
seminars,
here
we need
to
that seminars for
them.
youths.
Okay.
Easy vitu, easy talks show. We have to must have them.
Hawezi
Main.
kusema
what
tuende
I-
mjengo waweke hiyo pesa. Mjua most youth saizi kwanza male gender. Useme hiyo aende mjenga aweke hiyo pesa. Hiyo pesa maybe apate hiyo pesa. Girlfriend ataka hiyo pesa. Na kila mtu
Bro,
anataka
don't date
pesa
if
leo.
you're broke.
So
I'm broke, I'm not dating.
Don't date it. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Utakula nini? Utakula nyasi.
Guys, let me just back up my point. Easy. Let me back up my point. My point is this. No, you naturally, from even when you're a kid, then you're playing with others, then you have something, or maybe you have a lollipop, your friend has a lollipop, then you yourself, you don't have. You will have that feeling of why, mbona sina ile. Mtoto atataka kwenda kupiga mwenzake, enda ichukue. Hiyo ama atarudi kwa wazazi wake, aenda ulize mbona mimi sina na yule yuko. So it tells you that innately we will have to compare ourselves with each other.
That is growth. Comparison is growth. Hiyo lazima ikue.
So it depends on how you take it. So this thing of creativity, I mean, I'd say that yes, we can tell the youth to be more creative, but it's just all about telling these people to be contented with. And
Yes,
I have another point.
but also, you can't just tell them this is something that needs to be molded in you from a young age. What do you expect? Let me not use that example. You can't expect a parent to have done completely nothing. You come home at 9, you leave at 6, and you bring up this child. Then at some point, nitamka tu nasema, oh, nafaa kuwa creative. No, this is something that's built from childhood. If you are brought up like not to think, you're just sitting there like a flower. Definitely, you're going to sit there as a flower when you go to the outside world.
That is so much for the creativity.
I disagree.
We will really disagree and agree and take the hand.
My friend, that's why we are here to talk about this thing. You will not cut a shot. Okay. You will not cut a Bwana, you are not going to.
You refuse to be intimidated.
Oh no, you will not intimidate us.
Okay,
My friend, I disagree. Why am I disagreeing? Because you'll find many people ulifundishwa kutumia Facebook. No, ulijifunza. No, ngoja. Ulifundishwa kutumia Snapchat. No, but you find yourself ulijifunza ukatumia Snapchat. Because you are unajifunza kutumia vitu zingine ambazo hazifai, very useless things, but ukiambiwa go and learn something yenye itakusaidia kujenga, hapo sasa unafanya
first you answer by telling us to go to learn. We gladly
is doing coding, just learn from YouTube and a lot of people, and then you
actually create a website.
Doing that data is something that is not going to help in anything.
Watching TikTok challenges,
maybe watching
shorts on YouTube.
You can learn the way my brother said.
Venye tumezaliwa na mind ya entertainment. Mimi nataka tu vitu za entertainment.
No, but you see, if your thing is entertainment, that's a different story. There are people who are doing coding, they are not into entertainment. Not everybody is going to be in entertainment. So if
the majority now is on entertainment.
People do research.
Not majority.
Wangapi wanafanya coding na wewe bro? Wangapi wanafanya marketing?
Alafu ulikuwa unaliza hapa, wangapi wanafanya entertainment na wewe hapa?
Mingi, every youth on TikTok dancing.
Okay.
Sasa unasema ni mingi na wewe uko hapa peke yako.
Okay. Let us talk on other 2 points as well.
You know, point. So
thank you.
My other point is cyberbullying. Yeah. Basically, I'd say blanketly as online harassment. You see, another thing. Always, I like maybe deducing my reasoning from like real world scenarios. Right now, maybe if you meet somebody, you talk with somebody, you can see somebody has some sort of maybe some malicious glint in the eye or maybe even a dimple or something like that. Physically, you will see this person and you'll just assume because those are things that are there. But the moment that this person posts this thing or has this this person, anyway, if I say person, I'm both all the genders. If this person posts maybe a picture in Instagram, you will find that that dimple now will be the one that will be facing a lot of criticism in the comment section. And now that we've talked about this social media thing, it's something, it's something crazy. So that's one thing that youths really have an issue with. Probably if you are that type who needs validation from social media. And I'd say that quite a good number of youths using social media nowadays needs those clicks, likes, and loves. Yeah.
Everyone needs them.
I'll talk about.
I don't need them. For me, I don't need them.
You need your
Let me talk about a
subscribers. It's the
different
same
point.
thing.
Let me talk about a different point, and I'll begin from our parents. Actually, I'm not blaming them, but I'm correcting them. If you're a parent watching this show, you find that when a child is being brought up, he or she happens to have a talent, is good at singing, playing football, and things like that. Let me talk about singing or rapping or just modeling. You'll find most of our African parents don't support such a kid because they majorly believe that you should go for education first. So wewe utanyamazishwa kwa ile talent unayo in the name of wanataka usome kwanza. I'm a victim of that actually. So I'll say that if our parents can learn to support a talent that they notice or recognize or realize in their kids from a tender age. Look at Justin Bieber. He began singing when he was a little boy, but right now the fan base has grown to, I don't know, massively. So if you're a parent, you should really learn to support the talent that your son or your daughter is having from a tender age. They should do that by supporting CBC. CBC is actually trying to do something like that. So the CBC, if you open in Kenya, people watching from Kenya, we have some new education system. For sure. Yeah. So I think that is one of the challenges that we face. I also have another point as well. Or maybe ladies first.
The point that we are all trying to avoid, trust me, it's killing most of us out here. Relationship, unhealthy relationships. We engage into things that we are not able to cope with. Then the male gender, I'm going to specify on you because okay, let me just say I'm going to specify on the male gender. You find that someone is in a relationship, they are having issues. Hakuna relationship ukuanga bila kugombana, lazima tugombani. Kwanza ndio unaona if we sit down na tujagombana, I'll be like, do I still have a man? Oh, okay, I have a man, lazima niende nimsumbue. But then sasa an issue arises yenye na kusumbua we kama boy, unaihandle kama kibro, unaona? Unaihandle kibro. Then these things over time zinakuwa mingi. Then unasikia mtu amekuwa na outburst. You don't understand why, but don't you let these bitches out, these ladies. I'm sorry I called you that. I'm just talking out of some kind of impact, unaona. Don't let your girlfriend pressure you into doing what you don't want to do. Don't let your girlfriend be mwenye anakucontrol hadi to the extent you're even lying to your parents so that you make them happy. Stop making ladies happy out here. Mlan kwa relationship. Relationship ni kwenye naweza kuja, you are my best friend. Nitakuja nikwambie bro, yani nitakuja nikwambie babe, ni hivi na hivi na hivi. Unaona aje? Si ati mtu mmoja ndiye ana run relationship. Juu iko nje ile design my youth tunajiua, design my youth tunachizi. Wala ni serious, na hata tuna kazi bado. So sijui hadi unaona kama hii inatu watu kama Kenya.
Different point. So my other point is about the political divisiveness. Nowadays, you see, I mean, you guys know, people watching this thing, different governments have different crafty politicians, and the politicians know what to say and when to say it and how to say it. So you find that nowadays the youth, because at your youthful stage, you're that courageous, I mean, you're that powerful and things like that. So they use these people and you find that, I mean, even the rise of gangs and things like that. Nowadays, politicians, they use that to maybe gain influence and things like that, to silence people. So you find out that this is something that literally a lot of youths face. I mean, they have a lot of issues with dealing with it because these people are they're really dividing us. Yeah. So Yeah, that's something that somebody.
Sema self-criticism.
So to add something on top, let me talk about depression, because this one is also to add on top of whatever she said, because it comes hand in hand with an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
Because after everything is done, umenyamazia na hapo kitu inakuuma ndani, umenyamazia nayo.
Hizi stories zote zina cause depression.
Yeah.
Hizi vitu zote.
Yeah.
Mental health matters.
Inasumbua watu wengi sana, tena mavijana.
And it's real. You're just looking at your friend alafu unaona tu ana cheese.
Live.
And there is nothing, totally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But community should be able to do something.
Like what?
Yeah, I'm glad I know one in our town here. We have Restoring Hope, a space where we can talk of these things. A community, we should have these spaces where youths can talk freely. So in each town, in each center, government should consider this, or the NGOs, people who are able.
Unaona, like if you say the society are our parents, na tushasema wazazi wenyewe wametuacha, aki wazazi mmetuacha. To the extent sometimes you just want to sit down with your mom and talk, but she's like, I'll try and come back early today. Hiyo siku ndio sasa narudi saa 4. So naona after 3 days, is there a reason to talk about it? There's no reason. Then you keep pressing those things down. Na society kwanza ndio ametuacha, hata sijadi niseme aje.
I don't think it is entirely on the parents. It's on
the parents make
the kids and the parents.
Yeah.
Unaweza mwambia mtoto wako njoo saa 3 tafadhali, jaribu leo urudi kwa nyumba mapema tuongee.
Very important.
Atarudi saa 6.
So one thing that maybe I tell somebody, the way for me I deal with this thing is that in everything that you do, always expect the worst, but always like work for the best.
For the best, yeah.
Because this thing will really all these things also, they can narrow down to expectations. Let's assume, for example, you are a very good student and you want A material. Then it turns out that maybe when you're going to do your exams, then maybe you are sick or something just happened, then you get a C. Now these things will be compounded. Number one, your parents will be like, what did you do in exam? Were you really lying? And things like that. You yourself will also be like doubting yourself and things like that. So always in everything that you do, always be like, something sinister might happen, but well, let me just work for the best. You won't be surprised with the outcomes of lots of stuff. Even if you get in a relationship, yeah. You know that, yeah, of course. The person might disappear, so it's like a rubber band. It's like a rubber band. The more you pull it, it stretches. And you know, the longer the distance, the more painful the impact becomes when the other side of the leaves it. So that's something that you
Okay, another point, self-criticism.
So, yeah, self-criticism.
Yeah.
Am I as good as he is? Can I ever get where she is? I really want to get there. I really want that. It inafunga like growth yako yote. Attention yote, your whole mind is focused on trying to get like, to be like, to do like.
Positively
that. Yeah, possibly it's not okay because your mind cannot explore who you really are. You are focused on I want to be like she's.
It depends.
Yeah,
how you take it. It can be extremely negative or highly positive. Yeah. There are some people who take challenges as a way of which to use that as a reference point.
Yeah. But in the youth today it's negative. Kitambo tulikuwa tunaambiwa so mkaeka Nelson Mandela. I'm going to put all my everything on Nelson Mandela. It's going to be positive. But Leo, I have an 8-year-old brother. Me personally, I want to be the best version of myself.
Thank you.
I'm very confident in who I am. And like I'm exploring different fields to see where do I fit. Because personal education itatusaidia. I did my diploma, I'm doing my degree right now. When I finished my diploma, I couldn't get a job. You get a job, it's giving you shit salary. It doesn't work out. So like right now, I'm not looking into the degree. No, I'm looking into trying out different things so that nikiingia hii field, wapate like I can do it best. Ili nikuwe absorbed.
But what you have to know is that even if you are finding yourself and things like that, you're operating in a society.
Yes.
You have to work within the guardrails. And the point that you said earlier on about acceptance, it has to work. Like if a child comes at home, Mom, I'm feeling like I'm a lady and I'm a boy and things like that. No, the society says that you have to be a man, or because that is how it is. So you have to also operate within the guardrails of what the
Do you
society
live in accordance to the society?
You have to live with.
I don't.
Okay, so it means
That's-
that you
that's-
cannot.
yeah.
So this is what happens. Let us take, for example, in the wildlife. There are these wild animals, and you get that if any wild animal decides, okay, now I'm brave and things like that, antelope decides that I'm brave, then decides to go to where the
lion.
leopards are. Okay, because I'm brave, what happens? You
It dies, but also you've seen in real nature where a lion captures like a baby antelope, but it doesn't feed on it immediately. No, we are talking about nature. Let's talk about nature.
So, sawa tu wananchi.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. Okay. Thank you so much for having us until this time. And in case you're having a different view on the challenges that the youth face in Africa, you can just put it on the comment section so that to all the points that we didn't capture, if you feel there is one left out, just drop it down on the comment section. And my final word on the youths, I'll tell you to be contented with your levels, with your standards, and grow from there. Accept yourself and grow from your level. Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.
Good night.
Amen.
Tina.